Okay, peeps, welcome back. So, today we're going to be talking about Bitcoin. Where are we in the cycle? This is going to be the weekly update. So, let's get it. So, this is going to be just Bitcoin. Okay, we're not going to talk about the grayscale ETFs, or I should say trusts. Um, we're not going to talk about altcoins in this video. This is just Bitcoin. Okay. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. You guys can see currently that we are breaking out of this bullish flag pattern here we have on the weekly. Whether it closes above or not remains to be seen, but the target for it is roughly about 48,600. And where would 48,600 put us at? That would put us at the previous wick high up here, roughly back in March 2022. So that is the major previous swing high that we have to get past. If we get past that, we could be looking at potentially 52,000 coming up. Now, keep in mind, within the next week or so, that's when the BlackRock spot Bitcoin ETF is expected to be approved and put onto the market. So, their $10 trillion in clients and institutional investors and accredited investors and stuff like that can take a look at actually buying or getting exposure to these spot Bitcoins. So, with that being said, we're still bullish on the MACD. The RSI is in overbought territory, but it's not fully in overbought. You can see the yellow line here is still below the 70 level. Or just, excuse me, just at the 70 level, I should say. So there is some bearish divergence here. That indicates the potential of a pullback, although we have not seen that yet. Typically, when price is going up and one of these indicators is going down or both, in this case, the RSI, that's called bearish divergence. That means that there is potentially a pullback around the corner, but again, we have not seen that. So, Bitcoin's looking good. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, basically 8 weeks up, and then we have this consolidation and what looks to be a potential breakout. So we're going to go over all major metrics today. So we'll get into the crypto fear and greed index here. So this is currently in the greed territory. It's not extreme greed. It's not between, I'd say 85 to 100 would be like, yikes, definitely consider taking some profit off the table. Not financial advice, but we're not like really extremely greedy right now, but we're definitely up there in terms of greed. So if we take a look at the historical chart here, we can go over the max time frame. You can see that we're up here in terms of how high we get on the crypto fear and greed index, but we're not at all-time highs. So all-time highs would be basically somewhere between 85, I would say, or 90 to 100 is like basically like your maximum bubble territory, and it may potentially be time to get out of the market, but we're not in the bull run yet. The halving is 4 months away from now, so we're not even close. But historically speaking, it's a little expensive, but I would say not like super bubble territory, at least not at this point. So the Google Trends is the 5-year chart. You can see here past 5 years. Typically, when we're at a top here, we see somewhere around like, I would say 100 or somewhere between 70 to 100 would be considered to be a top for this would be the overall crypto market. Generally, during bear markets, you can see we kind of slide through here. We're roughly somewhere between the single digits to about 10, maybe as high as 15. But even with the recent increase in crypto, we're not super high, which means a lot of people are not looking at this market right now. That's very good for crypto buyers. When people en masse are not looking at the crypto markets, that is the perfect time to get in. Not financial advice, but you can see based on the charts here. So we had our November peak 2021. This was the, if I can get it to actually show, roughly about the May peak of 2021. We go back here on the charts and look at that. Again, November peak and roughly about the May peak. Okay. But in terms of selling's up here, buying's down here. So I would say this is a great time to buy. Now for Bitcoin, similar thing. We're not even close to overbought here. We're only at a 21. The historical average on the low end is somewhere between 10 to 20, maybe 25. We're currently only at a 21 right now. The all-time highs is basically somewhere between, this looks like to be about 75. And over here you have Let's see if I can zoom in. No, it's not going to let me zoom in. But anyways, so you have the May peak here at roughly about 100, and you have the January was basically Bitcoin breaking past its all-time highs at that point. That was also at 100. So definitely good times to potentially start taking some profit. But again, we're not even close to overbought. We're like miles away from being overbought on these particular indicators here. So with the MVRV score, we have exited out of the perfect buying zone down here in this green box. But again, we're only at roughly about a 1.5. We're not even close to maximum bubble territory. You can see the peaks here. Again, roughly about this was December of 2017. So you get your roughly March timeframe peak here, and then of course you have the November one, which kind of surprised everybody, including us. We didn't think there was going to be a second run up, but there was. But when you think about it, it kind of makes perfect sense. I mean, there was actually a previous cycle where Bitcoin had a double top. I think it was in 2013, 2014. We'll go take a look at that later. But again, we are still in great buying zones right now. We're like 80% away from the peak on the MVRV. Bitcoin rainbow chart. We're in the lime green color, as you can see here, basically the accumulate phase. Again, I mean, if Bitcoin is going to go to, let's say, 150 to 250,000 per Bitcoin, and it's currently sitting at 45,000, that's a 5x. That's pretty good money. And a lot of people are buying into Bitcoin for long-term investments. Us personally, we don't have any Bitcoin. We're strictly altcoins right now. But if we were going to buy Bitcoin, we would be doing it right now before it gets to all-time highs. And we would have been buying and accumulating basically since roughly about 15 to 20,000 if we were interested in holding Bitcoin. So in terms of the net unrealized profit and loss, this is the Newport chart. When we're in capitulation, that is the perfect time to buy. When we are in euphoria and greed, that is the perfect time to sell. So we have not been in the green box since basically the end of last year. We're in belief denial phase right now, but I would say based on this metric, we're kind of in no man's land. We're not super bullish, but we're not super bearish either. Although I do think a pullback in Bitcoin, just my opinion, of course, and some of the altcoins would be healthy for the long run of the crypto bull cycle. But that's just, of course, my opinion. Everybody wants to make money, but you have to understand the faster markets go up, the faster they're going to come down. So a good long extended, maybe 2-year bull run with just consistent slow increases would be ideal, but we'll just have to wait and see on that. So this one looks a little more overbought than the others, but I would say this is kind of neither bullish nor bearish. It's just kind of somewhere in between. So with that being said, we're going to take a look now at the monthly time frame on Bitcoin. This is an important one because, again, as long as we do not break the uptrend, on the monthly time frame, I would say that crypto is still very bullish. So as long as we do not close below, basically at this point, as long as we do not close below 31,800 roughly, then we're good to go. It needs to hold this as support. I'll show you guys another prime example of this. So basically this first green candle here, we pretty much measure this all the way across. You can see the touch here, and on these wicks here, it held, then bounced up. That's probably part of the reason why we got the November rally. As soon as we broke below this, let me actually adjust this a little bit. You see this red candle close here? As soon as we got below that, that was pretty much it for Bitcoin and crypto. We went straight into a bear market after that. So as you can see, this is a very, very important metric here. And you can see we got the lines drawn here too to also indicate breakdowns in the crypto market before. And it's been pretty highly accurate, just so y'all know. So another thing that we're going to take a look at is the pi cycle tops. So I actually have to, and we are above the EMAs. That's also bullish here, as you guys can see, the EMAs are moving up. But we're going to take a look at the pi cycle top. So Bitcoin pi cycle top. As you guys can see, we do not have a Bitcoin Pi cycle top indicator popping up at this time on the weekly. Last time it predicted the May highs. It also predicted the 2017 highs. And it even, I have to go way back here, but it also predicted as well the 2013 cycle peak as well. And I believe even 2011, 2012. So it's a pretty accurate indicator. But we are not seeing that currently on the Bitcoin price as of right now. So nothing to be concerned about here. If we saw that cycle indicator pop up, that would obviously be concerning, but I'm not expecting to see that before the halving event. It has never happened before a halving as far as I know. So another set of indicators we're going to take a look at here is the SMAs. I do believe I have actually not shown you guys these before, so we're going to take a look at these. So you got your 50, and you have the 100, and the 200. So this is not so much for, let's actually change the color on these so you guys can actually see them. So we'll change this one to white. Sorry about that. And this one we will change to red to kind of indicate the longer time frame. So I'll show you guys why this is important. So we're going to go back in history here to the previous cycle. That was back in 2017. So basically, this is the 200. Okay, this is the 50. This is the 100. As soon as we got a triple golden cross on this thing, well, obviously you can see the 50 never closed below 200, but as soon as the 50 closed back above the 100, the bull run was pretty much on at that point. So we got our crossing here, and then we pretty much just blasted off from that point. The 200-week moving average is also another bottom indicator, as you can kind of see here, although we're not talking about the Bitcoin bottom because we're not in the bear market yet, but that is something to keep in mind. So once again, so you have the 50 closing below the 100. Once it closed back above the 100, keep in mind we kind of had this pandemic dump here, but that once the 50 crossed above the 100 and both were above the 200, the Bitcoin bull run was on at that point. So we had this little fake out here, which was actually a massive dump, and then we moonshot straight up to all-time highs. So why am I showing you this? Well, again, you can see the blue line here, the 50 has crossed above the 100. Both are currently below the 200, but if we get both crossing back above the 200, the Bitcoin bull run will be on at that point. And as you can see, we are well above it. So even if we get a pullback in Bitcoin, there's a pretty good chance we're going to get a triple cross on this thing soon. So with that being said, there is a couple other things I wanted to point out to you guys. So Bitcoin dominance is one of the things we're going to take a look at. Once Bitcoin dominance breaks this trend line here, I would say probably actually more accurately drawn like this. Once we get a break below this trend line, altcoin season will be on. We'll keep you updated with this in later videos. But when the Bitcoin dominance is high, Bitcoin pretty much runs the market. And when the Bitcoin dominance is low, that's when altcoin season happens, and that's when altcoins start to pop off. So as you guys can see here, we kind of have like a big resistance zone. Bitcoin could get somewhere in this resistance zone. Once it gets rejected off of this, breaks down below this trend line, altcoins are going to absolutely moonshot. We will keep you up to date with that. And so, yeah, that's pretty much Bitcoin for this week. Hope you all enjoyed this content. Please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions or suggestions, let us know below. And we'll see y'all later. Peace.